you just think about all the years that you worked for free, all those times that I sold tickets or bought my own tickets to my own shows. I played a show with a 103-degree fever just because I wanted to. That's what I wanted for my birthday. Always spent all my money on it. I just spent all my hours on it. Everything I think about is music. It's terrible. My fiance just giggled over here. She's listening to it. But yeah, it's psychotic. It's crazy, man. Like it's a drug. And I love drugs. I've done quite a few of them.
That was my next
But
question.
man, yeah. But yeah, music is the greatest one. I just can't get over it. Yeah.
Do you have some cereal with you by chance? No worries if not.
Dude, let's go get some cereal. Hold on.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I do have cereal in the crib. And I want to go back to work, but it looks like I'm not going to be working for some time. So,
What has that kind of been like? Like, are you guys trying to do like as Fit for a King? Are you guys trying to do anything to stay connected with the fans? Like,
I guess it's doing the daily, which is even like today on my Facebook, I just made a post where I was like, hey, if you want me to listen to your band and give you an honest opinion on it, link me. And I'm actually, taking the time to listen to it. And it's surprisingly pretty freaking good. Like, it's one of those things you have your days where sometimes, because I just love listening to music and new bands particularly. Because I like being the guy in my band who's like, hey, have you heard of this band? And then everyone's like, no, I haven't. And then I'm like, yeah, well, guess what? And yeah, so it's cool to be able to do that. No, mm, yeah. Dude, we got some good beards going on in this thing right now, too.
oh yeah.
I just shampooed and conditioned right before this. But, yeah, so I'm just trying to talk to the fans as much as I can. But I'm actually going to do what a lot of other people are doing right now, too, which is I'm going to start a podcast. It's something I've been talking about for a long time where I was going to do either one that was more geared towards the band. I'm just going to say this out loud. I'll just tell everyone my idea. I was going to either do a podcast called Fit for a Podcast that was just going to go with our new record and doing interviews on tour and like everyone that's involved with our camp and all this kind of stuff, just to get everything that you could digest Fit for a King wise. But then my other idea was do a podcast called Get Tucked, playing off Get Fucked, obviously. In that one, I feel like I can be myself a little bit more. And like our fans that are maybe more on which nothing wrong with that, maybe a little more Christian side. They don't really want to listen to vulgar language. Maybe they will see this and be like, okay, well, I know it's Tuck, so I want to listen to it, but I wonder if he's going to be his more unhinged version, which I will be. And it'll be fun. So, I just ordered a bunch of gear so I can start doing that. And I just want to, we meet such amazing people on every tour. And if you're a kid and a fan of the band and you're coming out and you're seeing Fit for a King, Chelsea Grin, Crystal Lake, and Alpha Wolf, I know you want to know more about them personally. So let me deliver it to you.
Yeah.
And, I'll interview all the characters. I've got 5 weeks. Like,
Right.
let's make it happen.
Yeah, you could just stack it up right now.
Exactly. So, there's just so many fun and especially in our camp too. Like, I want kids to know the other fun jobs that are going on, which is tour managing or running audio and doing front of house or being the photo guy or running merch. And there's a place for everybody. You don't have to play music to be on tour.
What do you think is the most underrated role on tour?
Underrated. It's the everyone over. The guy that has to do the most work is the merch guy. The merch guy is definitely the grinder. Like, he has to deal with the most people. He's out there for the most hours. He has the most work to do for sure. You know, it It depends, dude. The one thing that really, I always swore off and I was like, we're never going to have like a tech. Like, I don't want someone to change my guitar strings or hand me my guitar or whatever, blah, blah. But then you get one. Holy shit. Coolest thing ever, And he's like our best friend, so it's awesome. It's Bruce from Phineas.
Oh, amazing. I love Phineas.
Because, yeah, and when we started having Daniel play in the band, or asked Daniel to play in the band, we were like, well, we're not going to take you. And like, if you're not on tour, like Bryce is likely not on tour, even though sometimes Phineas does play and they have Sebastian from Darkness Divided play guitar. But we were like, we'll take Bruce too, because that would be awesome. And he's
Yeah,
the best dude on the planet. So
that's a good crew to be rolling with right there.
it is indeed.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
Dude,
Merch Guy does the hardest. He has the hardest day. But, what were you gonna say?
you work out, right? You're jacked
I
into it.
try, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I can.
How
But
long have you been into lifting and like staying in shape and all that shit?
since I was in middle school, my dad's an animal. My dad is 54. I want to get that correct. I don't like 52 something. I feel terrible right now because I am not just getting that on the dot. Regardless, my dad is jacked. He can still he incline benches 270 for like 12 reps. He's an animal. He's very, very diesel human. He's just an inch taller than me, but he's just way bulky, like
Yeah.
jacked up dude. So early on, he just had me doing it. I grew up doing Taekwondo. My mom has her black belt and taught self-defense to women and taught Taekwondo.
That's why you can do all those crazy kicks.
That's where all the kicks come from.
Okay.
So I started doing that as an adolescent, and then I hit middle school, started playing football. Dad started getting me lifting, and I love it. It came a little naturally because of doing martial arts and stuff. You're already in pretty decent shape, and we're short and stocky, so it just kind of works for us. I think that's like a stereotypical workout guy build,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was just a bonding thing, man. We would hang out and 3 nights a week, and I just go down there and join him and listen to cool music. And he ended up having a buddy who, on one half of the weight room, or one half of the basement, you got the weight room. He's listening to Hatebreed with his pal, and I got my band on the other half of the basement having band practice all at the same time. And everybody's just hanging out, and I had super cool, supportive parents that just he had cool shit to do with me to hang out with me, and obviously a lot of kids don't get into weightlifting or aren't interested in it, but he was the kind of strong, cool guy where it was I admire my dad. I wanted to
Yeah.
be like my dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah,
So it sounds like
I
your
wish.
parents were really supportive of you and of your musical endeavors and stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't the best student, but I was
Preach.
always the performer of my family, singing and dancing and being loud and characters and all that hootenanny. And yeah, when I got interested in playing in bands, my uncle, he is a really great guitar player, offered to teach me how to play. So I'd go over there every Wednesday, and he would just teach me some chords, and we'd learn some songs and do that. And I started playing in bands. My mom took me to see Coed and Cambria locally when I was in 8th grade, because they were from the Hudson Valley. And that was the show where I was like, I'm telling you, man, they played the song Never Ender. And that was a deep cut of that Second Stage Turbine record. But it's funny how so many things are labeled Never Ender throughout their career. But that was the song that just hit me. And I was like, holy shit, I have to do this. And I ended up in the next year singing in a screamo band, and then I started playing bass because some friends of mine, they started a hardcore punk band. It's called I Shot Marvin, and they just wanted a bass player, and I had never done it before, but they had the gear, so they just gave it to me and were like, hey, just we'll teach you how to do it. We just want you to go crazy.
Damn.
And I was like, okay, like if that's the
Deal.
agenda, then I can do that. And that's why it's just I've always been labeled the crazy guy. I've always been. It's never for me. I've never sat down at a guitar and looked at it and been like, I'm gonna learn how to do all these crazy sweeps and arpeggiate. And I was just like, I'm gonna take that thing and I'm gonna climb a wall with it, and then I'm gonna flip onto people, and they'll remember that. Like
Yeah.
that will be the part they remember, which is pretty stupid if you think about it. Where it's like this has nothing to do with the instrument.
Yeah.
But I just saw like early Dillinger videos and the Chariot and Norma Jean and AFI and like all these guys that whether either they were like AFI was more like smooth. They were Jade Puget would like spin around in these cool, smooth, like whirly gigs where he like if you watch the Leaving Song Part 2 video, you'll see it where he just like puts one hand behind his back and one on his guitar and like does this really cool spin. And it was, I always wanted to have a blend between like that smoothness and Dillinger beating the actual shit out of each other on stage while playing extremely difficult songs that happen to be the heaviest songs ever, but in standard.
Mm.
Like,
Mm.
the whole thing doesn't make sense. And so, I just liked, yeah, I liked chaos. That was my fun part
When
of
you say
music.
in
So,
standard, what do you mean by that? For a less
standard
educated
tuning.
individual. Oh,
They
gotcha.
just played in like a standard tuning. They didn't like now like heavy is like we're gonna play in like the boom boom super low
Mm.
ridiculous like we do it a lot. Drop F, drop G, like North Lane, Fit for a
Oh,
King,
yep.
super boomy breakdowns. But a band like that, they it was just cool songwriting and structure and the tempo of the songs and the way that they swung through time signatures that made the song so heavy. It wasn't something that was actually like this is technically heavy
Mm.
by the sound of the guitar itself. They had to make it that way. So it was just, they were in that, pardon me, an interesting band in that regards. Um, but such a great live band. If no one ever got to see them, like you have to watch videos.
Yeah, I
It's
have to go look.
insane.
I never
It's
got to see him.
Oh yeah, like Greg would actually head walk where he'd go to the back of the stage and then he'd sprint to the front of the stage and he would just sprint onto the people as long as he could until someone broke their neck.
Fuck.
Um,
That's awesome.
they would actually like punch each other, jump off crazy things. There's a lot of bands that people regard as like crazy bands that had like crazy cool shows. Man, that was the one. And fuck, they were successful. Like they were a big band for 20 plus years until they chose to stop.
Yeah.
Dillinger Escape Plan didn't break up at a time where it was like, oh, we wore out our welcome. They were still a really big band.
Yeah, that's crazy. You see those every once in a while, and it's just like remarkable. They're deep into their career, but they're still top level, and it's a rarity. I feel like.
Yeah, once in a lifetime bands. It's you can't start a band and be like, oh, we're gonna try to sound like yeah, for instance, like there's a band like Vane has Dillinger influence. Like I can listen to Vane and be like, they liked that band, but nobody rips off Dillinger just because it was so unique. Um, where you can listen to Vane and it's like, well, it's part Dillinger, it's part Glassjaw, it's like got a bunch of cool stuff in here, a little Deftonesy here and
Yeah.
there. So they're just a once in a lifetime band.
Now, speaking of
Well,
once in a lifetime band, you guys have really over the last like I want to say 3 to 5 years, I feel like have really been popping like a lot recently, and I feel like I've been hearing a
thank you.
lot more, seeing a lot more people. And dude, I went to your guys' Spotify yesterday just to check, and you guys have a fuckload of monthly listeners.
It's getting there, man. It's doing
Yeah,
pretty good. Um, the newest record changed a lot of stuff, I think.
yeah,
I think that was the one that we kind of finally hit the nail on the head, and people seem to universally like it. Um, So I think that's kind of was the turning point for us, where we saw our biggest jump between Death Grip to Dark Skies for sure. But I appreciate that nonetheless. It's very kind of you to say. Um, I think we've been trying to hit it harder than ever. Like we seem very, very. I feel like we're the most dedicated we've ever been, and I think that has shown. Where Ryan could call me right now and be like, "Hey, dude, you got to get on a flight and go to Timbuktu." And I'm like, "All right, dude, I'll see you there." Like,
Yeah.
sounds great. And I think that attitude has helped us a lot to just dive in. Like, I'm 31 years old. This is my life. This is
Yeah.
what I have. So I am fully devoted to it and what we've created. And luckily, I think just we got to know each other better. I've been in the band now for 6 years, and I feel like we're all just closer than ever. It showed on that record. I think Dark Skies was the first time we all really sat down and we worked with a new producer. We were with this guy, Drew Folk, who we worked with on our new one that's going to come out too. And Drew just got us. He knew what to do with us. He knows how to talk to us. He knows what's best. And he makes it so certain things are simpler. Like, even with, one big question was, well, Kirby's singing a bunch now, and like, why are you not singing choruses or blah, blah, blah? We won in order for our band to grow and be, I think, the best band, biggest, best band that we can be. Ryan needed to take on this challenge of becoming a better singer so that way we have more longevity down the long road. And with that, your lead singer sings the chorus.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
We still keep part of what I do for the songs that are really meant for it and that, hold to my strengths, which is my soft R&B thing I do.
Right.
And it just so happens that now that I don't do a lot, when I do it, do it seems to be working better. It's
Hmm.
more successful. So I would rather hit a home run when I go up to bat every time rather than just get up to bat constantly. And I think
Mm.
that we as a band collectively feel that way. So it made working with Drew, he really helped to point out our strengths as a unit. And when we're writing these songs, you can have a part where it's, you know, I write the chorus of When Everything Means Nothing, but Ryan has to sing that because that's what bands do.
Yeah.
Um, so it was just finding easy ways to not have to focus on little ego moments, which I do still have for sure. Like I have hard times with it, and that's why I have a side project. But it's about the greater good, and I think our band finally figured out what the greater good was. Where we went through a couple records where Slave to Nothing, I didn't know them. We didn't know each other. It was awkward. We made a record. I think it sounds great, but it wasn't a home run.
Mm.
And then you get a Death Grip. You're a little bit closer. You're figuring it out. You're kind of seeing where everybody's strengths are. And then finally you get the Dark Skies, and it's just like, yeah, we're bros. Like, let's do this. Like, we know what we want to do. We crushed it. And I can't wait for everyone to hear the new one because it's way better. So
That's
it's going to
coming
be
out.
sick.
When is that coming out again? Isn't it in like April?
No, we didn't put out a date yet, but it's going to be late this summer.
Late summer. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so we put out the one song, Breaking the Mirror.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is
It's
fire.
Thanks, man. And it's definitely more like rock, kill
Yep.
switch,
Yep.
old school metalcore thing. And a lot of fans definitely made comments about, oh, they're going to go all soft. Oh, they're going to go all kill switch and blah, blah, blah. It's a song. If you've ever listened to our records, you know that we don't do the same thing for every
No,
song.
it's variety. Yeah. It like ebbs and flows.
Exactly. Exactly. So this is one of those tracks where it has a purpose. And we wanted to write something that is, geared for our more octane rock crowd.
Yeah.
And we love it and are super happy with it.
It's called a
but we're
fucking
not.
radio hit.
Yeah, man.
That's what
And
every artist does. It's what you have to do. You have to put something out that's going to catch a wider net of fish. But then when
yeah,
you're wanting to like catch the fucking specific, salmon from wherever, I don't know. Like
yeah,
I think, yeah, I think that our scene and our industry, I feel like as fans are a little bit more intense about that shit than maybe some of the other
yeah.
genres out there.
Totally. I think because we're more focused on being a certain type of scene or image versus a success, where um, it's very rare that you can be Dance Gavin Dance and be hell successful and the most unique band on the planet.
Yeah.
So you have to think about things where, even like in the Parkway Drive, as a band, for example, people will be butthurt that they got more stadium rock with their newest record. And for every one person that's butthurt about them not being like a niche metalcore band, they got four new fans who were like, oh, this is awesome. I love metal music. I wanted a new band who like makes me think about Metallica and like the greats, Pantera and stuff like that. And that's what that new Parkway does is it's it's meant for a bigger audience. And if you're a real fan, you also should think of the perspective of these guys are like 40 years old. They're like been doing this forever. Be supportive.
Yeah.
It's stupid. You just have if you really love an artist, you're going to love them through all their, changes. And if that for a fact they're getting older and they're growing, like this wasn't a sudden change. It was a gradual thing. You saw it
Right.
over records like Bring Me the Horizon. It was a gradual
100%.
change from, they didn't do it in an overnight thing.
Right.
And I think that's important is just, giving it to them bit by bit. So that's what we do. We're never gonna, I think, be like a full, butt metal band or whatever you want to call it, heavy metal band. Because we really love our big breakdowns and we love our riffs and like that stuff is super fun.
I love it. So
But
yeah, please.
yeah, yeah, but like, dude, I also grew up on like Kill Switch and shit. So like,
Right.
I want some of that. Like, it's awesome. You're telling me if I couldn't like have a super heater track that was like everyone liked that I would be bummed? No, I wouldn't be bummed. I would be super stoked. My wallet would be fat and it would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be realistic. And a lot of people I think are just, they're focused on like, what we're all used to, which is like what's the coolest, like what we were talking about earlier, what's the coolest new underground thing?
Yeah.
Which will always be there. It's always going to be there. And we're always going to be a part of that. But like, say we get bigger, we want to be able to take cool bands out on tour. We're trying our best. Like, it's not Afterlife,
Yep.
Left Behind, like, Currents, like cool bands that are all different that we go out on tour with because we really like them. And I think that's the focus in the end is it's an ebb and flow, like you said before, of how all these things kind of move. It's a big machine, so it can't be an underground band forever.
Yeah.
But you know, but we're not trying to pull like a full move. Like when you hear the new record, I think people will be stoked. Like the one song we played live with Rio, it's pretty heavy. I don't know
Yeah.
if you heard it. There's a
I
song called
didn't
God of Fire. If
know.
you look on YouTube, there's videos of us
Is it
playing
like a
it live.
live?
And
Is it like cell phone footage of it, or is it like a
yeah,
proper?
no, it's just cell phone footage
That's
because
kind
we
of
just
cool.
put like, yeah, there's a song that has Rio from Crystal Lake in
Yeah.
it that we wrote that's on the new record. And we just wanted something heavy and fun to play that was new for the tour. And yeah, it's the beginning of our encore that we were going to do on the tour that is now postponed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. It's heavy. Yeah.
Speaking to the underground and kind of like the up and coming bands, you mentioned Currents, you mentioned Afterlife, and like Left Behind. Who are like, what are like two or three of your like current favorite up and coming bands? However you define that.
I I'm getting poor connection currently. Are you seeing me? Or are you
I
not
still
seeing
see
me?
you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. I really like Chamber. They're
Yes.
really good. Um, Downswing, band from Albany, just put out a new record, and if
Yeah.
you're into the like stick to your guns style stuff, that is definitely the band for you. I like that band a lot. Um, there is on the softer side, there's a band called Rich People from Philadelphia that I absolutely love and listen to a lot. Um, New Sanction record is really good. That one took me a minute. Uh, I had to like watch more videos of them to really get into it, just because on the recording, the snare is so intense where I was like, holy smokes, you hear it piercing my eardrum. But I think that that record's really cool. And Spite. Spite is a band that really has my ear and interest. I wouldn't really like they're I guess a newer band, but they're also starting to really draw a lot of people. Um, but yeah, I think that band's fucking sick
I
because
just saw them out in Amityville, and the the thing I always look for, like when I'm at a show, is how the crowd is responding and like
yeah,
how much of the crowd is involved versus like, just kind of sitting there checked out. And Spite gets everybody involved. Like Darius is also just like such a theatrical front man that it really
yeah.
helps. That dude's fucking amazing.
I Yeah, I've been hearing nothing but good things about them and like the tour that I think they got to finish most of it, if I'm correct.
Yep.
But yeah, people were saying that the numbers were awesome, and um, my friend Baby J is playing drums in their band now, and he's just super super stoked on it. But that was a cool tour lineup too, because you also had Varials with Matt from Boundaries. That's another band that I really like. That's new is Boundaries. They're from Connecticut, and uh, their latest EP was super fucking sick.
I've been hearing a
Very
lot about
heavy.
them.
Yeah, he writes really cool lyrics, a really sick delivery. Um, it's got almost everything from like that. A lot of bands are doing the like early metalcore sound, like Chamber. And this is one of those bands that I think is really nailing it for me personally. It's got enough of the mosh that I lift to it, but I could also like just put it on because I'm thinking about it or driving. Like it's not just something that I only put on in the gym.
Yeah.
But I really like that band. I really like his voice. Um, and so I think I watched some videos of him performing with Varials, and I thought it sounded really good. Um, and I Am was on that tour as well. I Am is
Yep.
super sick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like I
heavy
am.
Texas band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Texas, man, they produce some wild shit. Now, you mentioned earlier that you started your side project to kind of
Yes.
nail some of the, I guess, the hole in the singing, right?
Yeah. I had At first, it was just, one, I wanted to do it just for fun, and I ended up jamming with my friends Melvin and Evan, who are in the side project. It's called Off-Road
Off of minivan.
Minivan.
Yeah.
Um, and on the first time that we jammed, we ended up writing this song called Spiral Gaze. And that is the like single from the EP that we put out and stuff. But I ended up, we recorded that song. I sent it to the label, and I was just like, hey, me and my buddies, we like made this thing. I think it's pretty cool. Like, what do you think of it? And they were like, this is pretty sick. Like, what do you want to do? And I was like, can I put out an EP and make a music video? And they were just like, sure, okay, sounds good. And I was like, oh shit, all right. That was like the least stressful thing I think I've ever done. Cool. And so we ended up, recording an EP ourselves and having it mixed by Mike Watt at Voodoo Studio, and putting that out, making a music video with my friend Kevin. And it just fulfills this. I'm more of an emo fan than I am a metalcore fan when it
Okay.
comes to listening to music. Um, I definitely, uh, you know, how do I put this? My favorite band, despite controversy and cancellations, is Brand New. And that's what I grew up really loving. Brand New, Thrice, Thursday, like that kind of like screamo meets emo stuff.
Yeah.
So I, when I'm home on off of tour, I spend more time playing guitar than I do playing bass, and I write songs like that.
Yeah.
So it just gave me an opportunity to be able to put out some music that means a lot to me, that I really love, that I don't get to play a lot and I don't get to tour a lot from it, but it's just a really, it's a really fun pastime for me, and hopefully someday people will hear it and absorb it and hopefully like it. Um, we have a new album coming out, our first full length. It's going to come out on May 15th. The announced date, it will be coming out for that shortly. Um, and I'm super, super excited about that. It's just, they're all like my oldest friends from home. Like, two of the guys were in my first band ever when I was 15 and they were 13.
Damn.
So, yeah, like it was just one of those like, hey, even if we never get that popular or whatever, at least we get to knock off the bucket list. Like we put out a record on a record label together, and it was a really fun experience. So, Tooth and Nail and Solid State are the most supportive people on the planet, and they really care about us and love us and let us do what makes us happy as artists. They're not just there to be a cog in the machine. So they let us do what we want.
That's so important.
But,
Yeah. I feel like
yeah,
that's a rarity, and that's amazing that they treat you that way. I love that.
yeah, man, it's been really, really nice, and a lot of it I know is not necessarily like the most conventional or you say we're like, hey, can you let me put out this project? It's called Off-Road Minivan. Most people are like, what the fuck is that? That's stupid. But I have this whole premise to it essentially where I just really love where I grew up, and I have all these really interesting to me feelings about where I grew up, where it just got, now that I'm older, it's got this really interesting shroud of darkness over it. And
Mm,
there were so many interesting characters that reminded me of TV shows and movies where it's, the overdoses to the, even like a murder case and um, car crashes and all of these things that you constantly hear about in TV shows and movies. And I was like, well, I, kind of want to compile these things and write it in for myself. Um, and that's essentially what this full length really is, And there's a couple songs that steer from the path and are just stories. Like is one of the singles is just a story from the drummer's life, just for fun, and it's cool. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of wanted to give this weird documentation of all these strange characters that I've met throughout my life in my early years. And luckily, my band lets me just write the lyrics without really any check or balance. Like, they're like, okay, yeah, what stupid thing are you writing about now? Oh, cool. Like, yeah, that guy that got shot in the head. Oh, yeah, by his wife. Sick. Cool. Sounds great. Thanks.
perfect.
Um, yeah. One of my favorite ones, there's a song called Taconic that we wrote. It's about this crash that happened on the Taconic State Parkway where this lady, it's not, the song's not like about it, but it is about it. There was this crash where this lady went the wrong way on Taconic with her minivan, and she killed like a bunch of kids and people and herself.
Holy shit.
Um, yeah, it's there's a documentary on Amazon. It's called "There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane," and if you want, you can watch it. It's really good. But I used it more as a metaphor between just everyone that when I grew up as a kid in Hudson Valley, a lot of people are just like, man, I want to, get out of here and make it to the big city. I want to do something, bigger with my life. I don't want to get stuck here. And then there's so many people from the city who are like, oh, I need to go up to the Hudson Valley on my weekend and get away. And it just seemed like everyone always was going the wrong way on the Taconic.
Hmm.
You just, whether you were, the person stuck in Red Hook and you wanted to get out, or the person from the city who just really honestly wanted to live upstate and get away from all the chaos, you know. So I wrote this quirky little song about it. But eventually, hopefully, you'll hear it. I'll send you the record when we get off the phone,
Sick.
just so you can have it yourself. But
I'm excited.
yeah, it's more. I say my favorite band now is Manchester Orchestra, so I don't get in trouble anymore. But I figure as long as I preface it in an interview, it's okay. I don't think too many people get mad at me for saying my favorite band's brand new. But yeah, I just wanted to write stuff like that because that's what I really like.
Yeah.
You know, can't be flippy and screamo all the time. I
Yep.
think, it's fun, but it hurts my knees and my ankles and I'm tired. So,
And
you
you're a human. There's way more to you than just one side.
I'd like to think so, and it's cool because the people that are fans of Fit that do end up hearing about off-road and listening to it and checking it out, they've been super nice and supportive about it. And a lot of it are the people that are like, hey, why aren't you singing as much? Or I want more of the Selfish Eyes style song from Slave to Nothing or whatever. I'm like, hey, I'm dishing you a whole bunch of it. Just go listen to it, and it's not for everybody, but it is for somebody. Um, so yeah, I really love doing it, man. It's super, super fun. I can't wait to get this new record out because it's, sorry to ramble so much, but yeah, it's just an art project for me, man. Like in one of the new music videos, like I got to like get all this cool face paint done and I had this whole concept and I got to do this like interpretive dance in the video. And because I was a theater kid in high school, and that was one of my like real initial dreams was like I want to be on Broadway. Like I wanted to do musical theater. But then I came to realization that I wasn't. I was good, but I wasn't that good. It's but not the people that are like singing on Broadway. They're like dummy good. I was like, all right, I'm okay, but I think I'm better off in a van with my friends than on Broadway. But long story short, I love theater. I love dance. I love dressing up. I love makeup. I love just tapping into my femininity, my like inner that inner piece of me that I got to really explore in high school. And now that I'm 30, I haven't gotten to do that in so long. It's been, 10 years. So, it was really cool to get to do that again and to kind of like get your makeup done and get weird and dance and like just roll around on the floor and like kind of break apart. Because I just there's certain types of emotions that we tap into with Fit for a King, and there's sometimes I get to tap into a bit of my more emo side, like a song like When Everything Means Nothing. But for the most part, it's like positive bangers of like uplifting, weightlifting, like let's go, tear down the world kind of music. And I love that. And I love that that's what Fit for a King is for. But, like you said, as a human, I couldn't exist if I didn't get out this other part of me as well. And I think if I didn't have an outlet where I knew some people heard it, it would just like make me into just this egotistical prick even more than I am. Because all in all, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
That's the goal, is to release art. The money and success, that comes later. The reason why you end up reaching those things, hopefully, is because you were so confident in your art that you thought everyone had to hear it. And it's just instilled in you. It's something that you can't like. I don't know. I don't think you can really pretend or like make it or fake it, I should say. It's just like manifested in you. You just have it.
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, so it's cool getting to be able to do both and have these two fun outlets where they are both my like Jekyll and Hyde, my two
Yeah,
selves.
I like that. Like being a musician in a touring band, like there's a lot of like romance to it and stuff. And one thing I always ask people is like, when it isn't romantic, when it's not fun, when it's like you're sick on the road, you're like three-quarters of the way through the tour, you're like fucking tired of being around your bandmates. You're like,
Yeah.
I hate these guys. But then you're like going and like sleeping in close quarters, you're hanging out all day. What do you tell yourself? Like, how do you almost, I guess, convince yourself this is what I want to be doing?
I guess that's the weird thing is I never like I've never had to convince myself. I don't know. It's no matter what, I am so enamored with it. I had one time I really broke down and I was like, I can't do this right now. I need to go home. I'm losing it. Um, but for the most part, I've I don't know, I have to thinking back, yeah, I had some hard times. And especially like, the hardest shit, man, was like Warp Tours in the van, 7 weeks. It's 100 degrees out every day. No place to hide, no air conditioning, nothing. I think without those summers, we wouldn't be the band that we are. Because now I think I just appreciate, like, we finally started going in a bandwagon, and it's crazy. Like having that, or like I said, having a tech, getting to do things I like, going to the gym during the day and doing yoga and stuff. It's really changed things a lot. But yeah, um, I guess that I don't want to say I like to think that I didn't have to convince myself, but when I did, I guess have to convince myself, you just think about all the years that you worked for free, all those times that I sold tickets or bought my own tickets to my own shows. Like you spend $200 on tickets because you couldn't sell enough tickets to your acoustic show that, because people only wanted to come see your band. But it was my birthday and I really wanted to play, and I ended up buying like I bought like 15 tickets of my own ticket. And I had some friends who came, but I didn't want to show up without selling like 25, 30 tickets. It was my 25th birthday.
Of course.
I played a show with a 103-degree fever just because I wanted to. That's what I wanted for my birthday. I don't know. I never had to really convince myself. I always spent all my money on it. I just spent all my hours on it. Everything I think about is music, my bands. It's all I talk about. It's terrible. My fiance just giggled over here. She's listening to it. But yeah, it's psychotic. It's crazy, man. Like it's a drug. And I love drugs. I've done quite a few of them.
That was my next
But
question.
man, yeah. But yeah, music is the greatest one. I just can't get over it. And I think it's part camaraderie because you're so addicted to other people where you want to be surrounded by other people, but after all these years, it really becomes a part of you where you're not just you anymore. You're you, the musician, you're you, the performer. And you see that in people when it ends, for sure, because it's very difficult to, I think, compartmentalize and come back to reality when it does, because someday it's going to stop.
Mm,
Someday I won't be, Tuck and Fit for a King. I'm just going to be a dude with kids and have a life.
yeah.
But I'm going to dream of doing this for 30 years. I'm going to hope I get to for a really long time. Some people get to do it for a long time, so we'll see. But yeah, that was a lot of rambling. I'm sorry.
No, no, it was a great answer. I I feel very similar. For me, obviously, it's video, but I completely understand that 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drugs. What's your
Hmm.
favorite?
Weed.
All right,
Oh, for
cool.
sure.
So,
I smoke a lot of weed, but
same.
I've definitely always been more just to generalize. Love weed, love hallucinogenics, and I like uppers, but I'm not down with downers, not down with the clown. I never, even when like getting like, I've had plenty of surgeries on my feet, my ears, stuff like that. I don't do opiates, never have, never will. I think I just as a kid that for some reason I saw when I was in high school, I had surgery on my feet and I had a bunch of hydros and I was straight edge at the time, so I didn't take them. And I had friends who asked me for them, and I was like, no, fuck that. I'm not giving you my drugs. Like, it's stupid. And they ended up getting some from other people, and they're like slapping each other in school and being like, oh, I don't feel shit. I was like, you're an idiot. That's so dumb. Like, that
Yeah.
doesn't, it never sounded fun to me. Like, you want to have fun? Go for a trip. That's some wild shit.
Yep.
Um, something that I always wanted things that expanded my horizons. And at least when it comes to pot, I I'm definitely a super hyperactive person, and pot brought out a lot of the positive qualities of my personality and brought down some of the ones that frustrate me a little more, which is my hyperactivity and my aggression. So for me, I didn't really like being on Ritalin or Adderall or anything like that because it just made me want to chain smoke cigarettes and feel like a crackhead. So I just like smoking pot.
Yeah. Strain of choice.
Yeah, yeah. Strain of choice, Blue Dream. Um, right now I've got this Strawberry Dream, which is
Ooh.
like a strawberry cushion Blue Dream
Ooh.
fusion, and it's delicious. But yeah, Blue Dream is, I just had such fond memories with that strain. It was like, it's so cerebral and makes me feel really uplifted and fun. I can do things, I can be productive while I smoke it.
Yeah. Do you smoke out of
But
glass or papers?
I was a spliff smoker for 10 years. I smoked spliffs all day, every day, all the time. And I actually just quit smoking tobacco on the 1st of March. And so now I'm just smoking glass. But it's not even glass. It's like a little
Oh shit.
what is silicone
Yeah,
kind,
yeah.
and then you can take out the glass pipe. But
Oh, nice.
yeah, that's what I have been smoking all the time as of recently. Just so I can kind of like take a rip on the go and like not have to just sit and bong it up. But yeah, I've never been like a dabs dude or any of that except for like little pens.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm surrounded not surrounded, but yeah, I've got like a bag of weed right here
Oh,
in
bro,
my
it's
shit.
quarantine.
Right.
Like I'm in the same boat. I got
Yeah.
all of my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel that. I'm like obsessed with always finding new music. And my interest level runs the gamut. It's everything. I love it all,
Cool.
except for like some of the shitty pop. But even that, if I'm in the right mood, like I can fucking dance to that shit.
I agree with that. Yeah, I get some of the pop exposure because Jared's really into pop music. So
Really
sometimes I don't really like it, but then like I found like Casey Musgraves through him because of that, and I
love
was like,
her,
oh, God. But continue.
love her.
So, yeah.
What are like one or two of your favorite artists right now that you're listening to that are not in any sort of metal subgenre?
Self-Defense Family is one that I'm listening to a lot. Their latest record, it's a really long title. I forget it off the top of my head. I can look it up in a second, but it is just so um, like therapeutic and chill and really easy listening. Um, I really, really love Self Defense Family, and that he's the singer of it. He's also the singer of the band Drug Church, and he used to be in a band with a guy from my neighborhood when I was a kid, and he was from like the upstate New York area. But yeah, that's one I really, really recommend. It's kind of spoken word to some extent,
Hmm.
but it's spoken word with a melody to it. Because I really don't like the spoken word stuff for the most part. I am not down with that. I really,
Same.
usually, I don't think it's very good, except for like Me Without You. Um, but fuck, Self Defense Family, dude. It is so good. Like, if you want some to smoke some weed too, that is it.
Really?
110%. Yeah. Um, and then another thing also that I've been really into is Men I Trust. Um, it's more of like a shoegaze female, um, I don't know, pop indie thing. Um, but yeah, super, super good. The whole like female singer indie wave of, for me, is, Men I Trust, Phoebe Bridgers, Julian Baker, all that kind of stuff has been really, really great. I like that a lot. Um, and on a small female fronted band that I find that's I think is pretty catchy too. Just put out a record on Equal Vision. It's called Glacier Veins. Um, but yeah, I love female singers. That's always been like a thing for me. Um, I guess it was just I was like a Stevie Nicks boy, like growing up, and my mom always had really good taste in music. And I think we had a healthy balance of male singers and female singers in the house. Um, but I think as a singer, I identify more with women than I do with men most of the time. I wanted to sound more like women than I wanted to sound like men, I guess, when I
Yeah.
sang. I wanted to sing like chicks. I didn't want to sing like a dude. I want, like, you watch Whitney Houston sing, like you're like, fuck, I want to
Oof.
do
Yeah.
that. Like I don't want to just like be some drony country boy. Like I want to rip. I want to be powerful. And a lot of guys, male singers, I don't think knew how to tap into that heartache like a lot of women did. Um, but yeah, those are some young, or not necessarily young, but some non-metal things I'm listening to at the moment.
Have you heard of Cigarettes After Sex?
Heard of, haven't listened to.
Highly recommend. It's a male vocalist, but he taps into that kind of like ethereal, like a lot of friends that I play it for, especially their earlier work, all my friends think it's a chick. And I
Oh, no
love that.
shit.
Yeah, it's
That's
so
cool.
yeah. I'm kind of like obsessed with them right now and have been for the last like year and a half. It's like the way I describe it is it's like when you wake up at 3 a.m., you go out into like your living room, sit at your coffee table, and you're just sitting there for like 5 minutes. Nobody's up. It's just like middle of the night. Maybe you take like a ripper and you just sit there and you're just thinking. It's
Yeah,
that kind of mood in music form.
that sounds great. I would
Yeah.
definitely spin it. I also loved Cigarettes After Sex when I used to smoke them.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah,
Unbelievable.
that's what a good name. That's
Yeah.
such a good band name.
Oh,
Oh my God.
oh, it's unbelievable. If you read at all about it, it's like they came up with the name and defined the sound before they even made any music.
Dude, that's so cool. See, okay, I have another like project I want to work on that is I have a name for it and I have like a sound in my head with it, and me and two of my friends are gonna work on it. But yeah, I totally get that where you come up with this whole idea before you even make anything.
Yep.
Where I yeah, it sounds kind of insane, but that's cool. I'll have
Yeah.
to check out this band. I've been seeing them everywhere. I feel like they're getting a lot of like big festivals and stuff back when festivals happened, when people played shows.
Right. When people went outside.
Yeah, when people were allowed to socialize,
Yeah.
you know. Mhm.
Uh, well,
What a
groovy, man.
crazy time we live in. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Oh my
insane.
goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quarantine, like, yeah, no, it's weird, but it's good. I think
Yeah.
it's going to cause a lot of innovation too, especially in the music industry. I think there's a lot of opportunity to tap into areas that bands traditionally have kind of left behind. I feel like a lot of bands, especially in our scene, have frankly sucked on social and keeping in contact because it's not what they do. They're musicians.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I think that this is kind of going to force people to be like, well, fuck. One, we got to make money, so we got to somehow still be tapped into our fan base. And I just think it's
yeah,
gonna. I mean, the amount of bands that I've talked to that have come through like New York that I've mentioned, like, are you fucking with TikTok? That weren't that I think over these next couple of weeks that will, and potentially
yep.
like hit a whole new demo is huge. I think it's. I think it's kind of just how you look at it, you know.
Dude, that's so funny. The God of Fire song that I told you about, I want to write a TikTok dance to that.
Please do it. Do
Yeah.
it. Do it like this week. I'm serious. No, no, I'm like so
Well,
fucking
the
serious. And
song's not
because you
out yet,
dance.
so I can't do it till it's out.
Oh, you can come up with it
I'm gonna.
though. When does it come out?
Oh yeah, the song won't come out for a while. Sadly, that's I
Fuck.
have to hope that TikTok is still a thing. But maybe I'll try to write a TikTok dance to one of our songs that's out currently.
I really think you should. I like it's the yeah, it's just the shit right now. Everybody's on it. Like
Oh my
it's
God.
yeah.
Yeah, I can. I'm thinking of one right now in my head. That's so funny. Yeah, I'll have to do that. If anyone in
Please.
our band, I guess Jared. We should put Jared on TikTok because it's hot. So
That'll play well.
hopefully then. Yeah, Jared, you can't even get a cup of coffee without that dude having like some girl come up to him being asking him what he's doing later or some shit. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's funny.
But
Hate
yeah,
those
he's
guys.
Captain. Dude, he is Captain fucking America. Dude is ridiculous. 6'4", beautiful, perfect hair. It's bullshit. Hate it. Gonna kill him.
I feel that.
Yep. This is
Thank you.
fun.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Appreciate you.
Major,
Yeah. I hope
majorly
you're
appreciate your time.
quarantined. Of course, when this is all done, let's get some lunch or something, man. I'm
Yes,
hanging. So
let's do
yeah. Yeah, I can't work for the foreseeable future, so let me
it.
know, man.
Sounds good. I will.
Yeah. All right.
Groovy.
Dude, it's a pleasure.
The pleasure was mine. Have a great day,
Deuces.
man.
You too, man. Bye, Caleb.